Hey YouTube. So tonight I'm going to talk to you about an amp that I picked up yesterday. I picked up a 91 peavey Classic 50, and it's got some issues, and I'm going to try to restore it and try to make it great, on this thing. And I've got a little slideshow running on the left hand side over here. I don't know if you can see it or not. And if you can see me, I'm going to switch over to it if you can't. And it just kind of goes through some of the various steps and stuff. I was excited. I was taking pictures yesterday for my brother and for one of my friends that was talking to me online about it. And we're going to try to do a complete restore on this amp, which I've done most of the outward restore, but I'm going to do the inward restore with some friends of mine. Going to have to pay a little bit of money to get some of this stuff done because I don't want to kill myself. I don't want to get shocked and kill myself, and I'm a little bit scared of it to do it. But I can do some of it. Um, so anyway, what you're seeing on that left hand side of the slideshow is various portions of this amp that at different times of the night. Last night I worked all night last night on this thing. I brought it home about 8 o'clock in the evening, and it was just beat up and tore up. The first thing I did is I plugged it in to make sure that it would work, and it was buzzing and it got real hot. The fan didn't cut on it, and it caught fire. So I shut it off. I took everything on, waited a little bit, and took everything down, and waited till the flames burn out of it a little bit, and then I pulled the chassis out of it. That was the first. That was step one, was get the chassis out of it, this thing. And then when I pulled the chassis out, I put it on the kitchen table, and I just let it sit for a little bit. And while it's sitting over there cooling off and cooling down and getting everything taken care of, I thought, well, this thing is dirty. As you can see, like the top over here is extremely dirty. So I took the time to say, well, I'm just going to pull everything off. The corner caps are all rusty. The top's dirty. The leather strap's broken. The brown burlap on the front was in bad condition. It smelled like smoke. And I just wanted to take some time to go ahead and introduce myself to this thing and clean it up and make it known that it's a nice little amp, and just take everything from there. So that's what I did. So I started by taking on the corner caps off. Then I took the reverb tank out of the bottom. I've already taken the main motherboard and chassis out of it, so it's pretty much getting disassembled and put over to the side in some of these pictures. And then as you see, like, I've got some white vinegar, and some of y'all may be going, well, why did you use some white vinegar? Well, these rusty corner caps on the side, this is like after it's been restored, what it's showing right there with the bottom, the feet. Those corner caps were complete rust. Those feet were completely rusted. And I used that white vinegar to make a chemical reaction. I could have left them in longer. I could have left them in about 4 to 8 more hours, and it would have completely pulled everything off. But I wanted a little bit of patina on them, not all the patina. And this is me just where I've pulled all the corner caps and stuff off. It's warped the board a little bit right there in that photo that it's showing. But so I put all the corner caps inside that white vinegar. I put all the screws and hardware inside some white vinegar to pull the rust off, and so that it would have a nice chemical reaction and take through. And then after I was done with that, I waited a couple hours, about 4.5 hours, 4.5 5 hours, and then I took and poured the white vinegar out and all the hardware into a sifter and sifted it out, rinsed it off with regular water to kind of react again, make a little bit of a reaction with it, and then I put it in Pine Sol lemon is what I put it in to get the rest of the rust off and to make a patina like effect. I'm sorry, I'm walking through my house with my computer now, but this is what I use, this Pine Sol. So it's the Pine Sol lemon, the multi-surface cleaner, and this distilled white vinegar is what I use. Some distilled white vinegar in one bottle. Poured it into these little trays like this. So distilled white vinegar in one, got another one, did the Pine Sol in another. So after I let it sit and did all that, I come back through and you'll see a potato peeler in one of these pictures, a little orange potato peeler. I rinsed it off with water, and I started scrubbing the rust off to get the patina look out of it. This is the dirty amp. This is why it was extremely dirty. So I scrubbed it with that potato peeler and got it the best I could. Then I set it out to dry. I set all my hardware out to dry, which I've still got some hardware over here. I've still got to put one of the backing plates on. But I set it all out to dry. And then I did something that, because I don't have any fishing string right now, I normally would paint stuff with fishing string and tie it to a fence or tie it to a tree and just paint it and let it sit. But I've got some clear coat somewhere in this house right here. This Minwax polyurethane clear coat. I took that hardware after it had been patinaed and dried, and I put it in an egg crate. So, an Eggled's Best egg crate. Let me show you this thing. So, I've got stuff all over the house as well I'm walking back and forth. But a little egg crate. And I just opened it up. Placed the hardware in here. You see the holes where I put the feet for the amp. But I put all the other hardware in there. Then I took it outside and I sprayed it with that polyurethane, that Minwax. So it would seal the patina in like a paint sealer. I did several coats on it. I did about 4 coats on it. Then I came back inside and started assembling the amp. Starting assembling everything that I could assemble on it. Getting it back. And this thing has turned out beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous little amp. And I've got the shell to it outside right now. Let me turn this nice little light on. I'll kind of try to show you what I can show you with it. Say hello, puppy. So this is the shell, but these turned out to be the corners now. They're no longer rusty, as you can see. They do have a little bit of patina in them. And then we've got the amp from the front, and I'm still working on that top. Still working on that chassis. So, but I'm starting to really like this amp, really like this project. It's going to cost me a little bit of money to put some tubes in it and to go through and make sure that the capacitors are safe to run. But I'd rather put the money into this thing knowing that it's a little bit older, it's going to last a little bit longer, it's going to have some, it's going to have more life you give it into it than to just be upset that the thing blew up a little bit. And like I said, I took a chance, man. I didn't even know if this thing even worked. And it worked, but it only worked for a short period of time. So I would rather just restore it and hold on to it for a little bit of time and just let it go. So keep on rocking, good people. That's my new project for the week. And we'll see y'all next time. Y'all be safe.